Alright, so I just put the ITZ dial into just a regular black convention base. I'm going to start with I guess it's the Xuron 485 FNs. I'm just going to grab the ends, just the very tips, 2 prongs at a time, squeeze and bend, or squeeze and turn backwards. So what I'm trying to do is make them up and then take a sharp turn. And then just go back and hit the original ones again. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the thinner ones, the 450s. So I can grab and twist a little bit more. These are thinner. These are only about 1 millimeter and change thick. It's actually not important to get the back ones longer than the front ones because the guy is naturally going to lean forwards. And if you do make the back ones longer, then he's just more liable to fall over. These really need to be weighted, but let's just see for fun if he does anything against an Invisibase. They're not horrendous. Let's check the weight on this puppy. All right, he's only at 314. There you go, 39.80 with this pile. Go right along the middle of the base here, and not to smush too much into the prongs there. Just doing some holding back there, so I'm going to squeeze a little bit farther down and roll it. So instead of just being the very tip of it, I think these set of front prongs were excessively long, so I'm just going to curl more of that down. Here's a 4.0 Invisibase. Why did he just move out of the way? I don't like the way the weight's sitting in there. It's touching the prongs. I want something through the middle of the base for a little bit of stability. If the putty hits the prongs, it's negating any effect that the prongs have. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 prongs here and twist them. So I've twisted these 2 so they're also facing the same way. It's a little top heavy here. That's pretty good, right? Just pushing back that weighted Invisibase. It's not too shabby. Well, that's a fluke. Not a bad guy to have on a line. There you go. So ITZ dial on just a convention base. These 2 prongs, I twisted them so they're facing, they're curled over the same way. And one last modification. As a blocker, I'd want to have this front face to be as accommodating as possible for when somebody wants to run into the base and just sit there. So there you go. Now he doesn't have that little wheel. So he should stick even better to this guy. Yeah, I like the way he's sticking. That's because, again, he's an offensive lineman. I just want him to press. I have to loosen the tweak here. You're going to have to go back and retweak these a few times. Get it with a little bit of that curl there. I'm actually very encouraged with the space. I'm liking this guy. Alright, I like the way that came out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the rest of the offensive line now. I've got 4 more bases. I took out their dials. I got 4 of these ITZ 8-prong guys. Alright, so let's see how we did here. We got 4 sets of prongs on each of these, and they're all bent back the same way. I'm hoping this comes out well on the camera. That's one. There's another. They're all pretty much the same. And this, and this, and they all look pretty hunched over there. I'm going to put them into the bases now. That's one. Actually, so before the putty goes in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these rear prongs, grab them with the 485s. I'm just going to grab them. They face this way. I'm just going to grab it, twist it while I'm pressing until it is straight. The new straight. Sideways is the new straight. How do you like that? Line these so they go in the same direction as the other ones. Anything that'll propel the base in the right direction is a good thing. It's like I'm squeezing while I'm twisting. And some come out better than others. Alright, I want to get the same curl on these. Grab a twist. Right away, so I might have to... Ah, there goes a prong. Okay, that one's dead. If I feel that's a problem, I've got tons more of these convention bases. Oh, wait, that's the wrong way here. Actually, if you line it up just right, you could just squeeze it, and this way you don't have to twist it. So I'm sometimes successful on that. I kind of gave up trying that, but it worked on that one in the back. Let me get another base here. Got no shortage. It's just by, instead of twisting them, I'm just going to grab it and hopefully I can just press it straight and just reshape it with a press. Yeah, often that doesn't work that well, but might as well give it a shot. Trick is to line it up just right and then just squish it quickly. Alright, I'm very lucky. Those two went. Alright, so next thing I want to do is I want to put some weight on these guys. Alright, so I spared you the video footage of me weighing out the little blobs. Let me see if I can do that. There's more space on this side where those original rear base prongs were. Press this down. Oops. Nope, I don't like... Alright, let's see. I'll put a blob here. Let's see how that works. So what you could do, like this is too much, if you think this is too much volume, you get this crumbly and it gets all over your fingers too. But if you mix it with the blue putty, so the tungsten putty, the blue putty, you mix it together, it's you know, here's a little bit of a mix. This one I've got I've got a big chunk in here, so the tungsten putty is much heavier, so you don't need as much volume to come up with the full 4 grams. Okay, right across the middle. Now the other thing with the tungsten putty, even though it's denser, it doesn't stick nearly as well. Let's see. Space, for whatever reason, is it doesn't fit very well, so I'm going to trim that dial. Just going to lop off there's just a little bit more weight I'm going to want to add with the putty. Alright, so let's see how this works. Test number 1. Got the weighted 4.0 Invisibase. So this one's a little weaker, I'll put it there. Again, as a first cut. Also weak. Okay. Oh, this one shows a little bit more promise. Well, some prongs. So let's go back, and I'm just gonna repeat the same steps. I'm just gonna take the prongs and press and curl with my skinny guys here. I'm even gonna press and curl these guys. Again, with these you want to line it up so you don't go too much higher or too much lower than the other ones, but there we go. Here, I didn't give a curl to yet. Okay. Let's see, so this is the one that showed a little bit more promise than the others. I like him. He's already given a good showing here. Alright. Two bases are by no means done. I would still go back. I'm going to try them again tomorrow. I'm just going to repeat. I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing here. I'm going to go match them up against this guy who's pretty consistent and see how they do. Let's see how this works. There you go. He's holding his own. Not so much that way. It's okay though. We're on the right track. Let's see how I did with this guy. Again, if he's leaning forward, I just press him back, press the platform back a little bit. No, he's not. You try it, and you see what works, see what doesn't. Alright, so it's been a day, actually it's been 2 days, and what I've done is I've just gone back and tweaked all these, and especially the ones in the back of the bases. These seem to be the ones, you know, the single prongs in the back of these convention bases. They seem to be the ones straightening up and going back to where they were. And you see on some of these bases what I've done is I've replaced the putty with, so it's not all blue putty, it's a lot more tungsten putty. I didn't like the way it was spread out. So you see, like, here's another one I did. And again, these prongs on the side, you don't have to go crazy trying to get them perfect, but you want them to help push the base along as much as possible. Here I tweaked another one. This is with a ITZ dial with a single prongs. I mangled the back prong here, but this guy's still pretty good too. But pretty decent lineman. Actually, the whole bunch is pretty decent. I just tested them. That can use a little work. Okay. Go back to this guy here. Alright, so these two need a little bit more help. Let's see what happens here. Let's tweak. Yeah, this is the one that didn't twist all the way over. Alright, let's see how that did. You can play with a figure, play with a weight distribution. That wasn't varied. Somebody knocked them over. Alright, I'll take it. Yeah, it makes a real big difference whether, I mean, here I'm putting the guy, the platform a little bit farther back just to give him some kind of sense of balance, but you really don't need that. In the offensive line, if the guy, you know, if there's nobody in front of him and he falls over, no harm, right? Yeah, let me get this guy a little bit more. I think I'm going to replace the weight because it was mangling the prongs. And you see, one thing I mentioned the other day was I have to mix up another batch of this. And got quite a bit of this. Too much. Good. This much putty's too much. Alright. Yeah, this is going to be a significantly smaller little putty pile. Alright. Might not look much different, but it's much thinner, this piece, because it's more dense. Alright, good. Nice set of 6 bases, sideways bases with putty.